Mary had a little lamb.
We believe that all men are created equal.
To the magnificent mosaic that is America.
From radio beacon to radio beacon.
I have a dream today.
Change has come to America.
Believe me.
Help is on the way.
Knock, knock. Who's there?
It's a figment of your imagination.
Randi Rhodes Show.
Turn up your mind.
Have you been to the cross and said, Lord, I have sinned. I'm sorry for my sin. I'm willing to change my way of life.
Have you ever asked God for forgiveness? That's a tough question. I'm not sure I have. I don't bring God into that picture. I don't.
Wait for it. And bam! Evangelicals for Harris. With a classic, some might say a moldy oldie, but a classic, have you been to the cross, sort of evangelical, this is pre-prosperity gospel is what that Billy Graham little clip is. And they've revived it, the evangelicals for Harris have. And I don't know what Donald Trump's going to do about that. What's he going to do? Trash the evangelicals? They actually threw some Bible verses at him. They said that this was, I'll quote them, a Matthew 25 witness of love of neighbor effort, endorsing Harris-Walz, who clearly value their neighbor more than, Truth Social stock price. Very fascinating what's going on there. I mean, people are just flipping and, going crazy to line up and join Harris-Walz. It just, there's something about joy and there's something about honesty. There's something about truthfulness. There's something about not short selling, literally, your country. That's what Donald Trump is doing. I mean, it's an amazing thing. He's a businessman, and he's in for the short sale. He needs something horrible to happen. Is what he needs. He needs something terrible, and he's hoping for it. He's just the guy to wish for it. He's just the guy to, say, oh, we need some sort of an October surprise. We got to freak people out. That's the Evangelicals for Harris, which is an ad you probably won't see. It's not backed by $1 billion a day. But it is a group of evangelicals. There, and I put in the homework, the better known evangelicals' response to these evangelicals' attempt at endorsing somebody, not Donald Trump. And let me tell you something. The Trump endorsing prosperity gospel preaching evangelicals on the TV, they're not happy with these evangelicals. They're not happy with them at all. Why? How could she be a Christian when she's married to a Jew and is half Hindu? Seriously, they wrote that down. Seriously, they did. And Donald Trump has an ad. It's on the Twitter, which, by the way, is, I don't want to say they're in trouble. They should be. But, we have a system called go to the agency, the Federal Election Commission. Go take it up with them. But people have filed complaints against Twitter. It's X now. Elon Musk's thing, his owned thing, his owned platform, because as you know, you can't, as a corporation, give money to a candidate. There are ways to get it into their political action committee. There are ways to do that. But you can't give them something of value that benefits them or their campaign or endorses them or denigrates their opponent without saying that it was a thing of value and reporting it as a contribution. Now, if Elon Musk reported that 2-hour, whatever the hell that was, that lisping thing. Oh, and by the way, Donald Trump says that the lisping was because it was a technical thing. It was a technical problem. Something about the incompatibility of his phone with Elon's platform made him sound very slurry, made him sound, like Sylvester the cat, made him sound lispy, made him, have, taksh on tipsh, sort of a feel to every single, S sound that he made for 2 hours. And I would just like to point out that yesterday I pointed out to you, my loving audience, that when a guy does a thing like that, when a guy is running for president and he is going to expose himself to a 2-hour free-form conversation with no script and, just fly by the seat of your pants kind of a thing, all his staff is sitting there. Everybody that runs any portion of the campaign is there. And they are listening in on the call, either on speakerphone or on their own lines conferenced in. I've experienced this myself when I've interviewed people who were running for high office, whether it was Barack Obama or it was, what's his name? Joe, he just died. They're all dead. Sorry. Joe Lieberman. And his wife, even if his wife was bitching to me. Remember the story from 2000 where his wife was bitching about the porta potties? Didn't like them. She was not a porta potty kind of a gal. I don't think she's ever squat anywhere, ever in her life. I think she, is the kind that will hold it, until she gets to someplace familiar. However, there were people on the phone listening in. So are you telling me that his campaign is so backwoodsy? His campaign is so, I don't know, ill-equipped? His campaign is so dumb? Chris LaCivita, the guy who swift-boated John Kerry and is now back trying to swift-boat Walz, wasn't present for the technical difficulty that made him sound that way and didn't say, wait, we need to reconnect on a different line or some such thing. So that's what we're supposed to believe. Anyway, he's put up an ad that is not even a dog whistle, okay? It's a wolf howling at the moon is what it is, where it had it had Trump's neighborhood, like an example of what a Trump neighborhood would look like, with brick buildings and manicured lawns and flags a-waving. Well, obviously that's not my neighborhood. You know why? Because I live with an HOA and you can't fly any flags. I had a neighbor that tried to put, I was very impressed with their effort too, that tried to put a Harris-Walz sign in their front yard, on their grass, little small sign, nothing big, nothing ostentatious, nothing, like the Trump flags that fly on the Ford F-150s that, go 50 miles an hour down to 30 in my neighborhood. Nothing like that. Just this nice, simple little yard sign. Harris-Walz. They made him take it down because it's an HOA. They did. Remember when I tried to put an Obama sign? They wouldn't let me put the Obama sign, okay? So I took it out of the yard. I said, okay, I signed up for this. And I put it upstairs. In Jessica's bedroom, okay, in a window there. They made me take it out of her window. Wasn't allowed to do that either. But they put up an ad that's got like brick houses with beautiful lawns and flags a-waving and said, this is a neighborhood with Donald Trump. And then, I don't even have to say it. It's like, my old Brooklyn neighborhood, okay, with, they don't even want to, my old neighborhood, people didn't even want to mow their lawns, okay? This is how it is. So what do? They have some guy and they come and they pour concrete. They do. They pour concrete. Everybody's backyard is concrete. Is what it is. Concrete. It's a nice place to raise a kid. But so that's like not even suggesting a racist implication that a black woman couldn't possibly live or run an HOA, let alone the country. Do you know what I'm saying? I mean, it's so bizarre. It's so sad. But I love the evangelicals, because it's got the other evangelicals, the prosperity evangelicals. Their panties are in a bunch. They don't even know what to do. And let me tell you who else is panicking. The entire Republican Party. Know how I know? Nikki Haley is now their spokesmodel. Seriously, they sent out old Nikki Haley to Fox News last night to make a plea to Donald Trump to cut the crap, to make a plea for Donald Trump to stop insulting her. And this was his response, was to put up a racist ad. It's not going to stop. The news is awesome. And I'm not talking just about the polling, which, is going in the right direction. It's going way in the right direction in all the swing states for Kamala. And people love Tim Walz. They're digging him. But it's the voter registrations that's got me all sitting up straight and paying attention. Yeah, young voters registering in droves.
A all things Randi at RandiRhodes.com.
Go for launch.
Speaking truth to power, the Randi Rhodes Show.
Gen Z is reportedly now energized like never before, wanting to be a part of the voting process. Young voters flocking to Harris on this specifically, at least according to a Vote.org spokesperson. They're on record saying this: more than 230,000 voters had registered to vote through Vote.org since Biden announced July 21st that he would step down. Of that figure, 18% were 18-year-olds. And 81% between the ages of 18 to 34 years old. So with this number here, and you could see obviously the drive there, Charles. You're now seeing a lot of movement here.
Look at their
with
faces.
Kamala's campaign, Kamala Harris, the vice president.
Did you notice what that was? Did you happen to notice what channel that was? That was Newsmax. That was Newsmax having to report that 230,000 young people between the ages of 18 and 34, 18% of them only 18, and then 81% of them between 18 and 34, newly registered voters. Newly registered voters. This is why they're panicking. And Donald Trump is, and what's really interesting, Donald Trump, if he doesn't win, guess where he goes? Right, jail. He dies there. He dies in jail. That's right. This should be on a T-shirt, okay? This should be on a T-shirt. But Scaramucci, who really does know Donald Trump, and he's the one that tipped us off that whenever Donald Trump does the accordion move, this one here, that means he's lying. That's a tell. Scaramucci said that he thinks that if Donald Trump sees the polling continue on the trajectory that it's on, and the new voter registrations continuing to rise, especially with young voters, because, young voters really care about, I'll say 3 things. They care about the freedom not to get shot at school, that kind of freedom. They care about choice, okay, and they care about climate change. And these are 3 things the Republicans suck on. In fact, they put it down in writing in the Project 2025 thing that climate change isn't a real thing. And then I'm sure because it was on social media, this in-kind contribution that Elon Musk just illegally donated to Donald Trump's campaign with the 2-hour lie-a-thon that they had there the other day, yesterday, live. I'm sure the young ones were interested in listening for a brief moment, and I just hope that they tuned in at the same moment that Brett did, right? I mean, I'm a junkie, okay? And I said, I'm not going to listen to that. I'm not going to do it. And, of course, 8 o'clock came rolling around, and I was like, I have to see. I have to know.
That's because you're a masochist. I mean, honestly.
No, I'm a junkie. I'm like, you don't want to be around me when C-SPAN's on. You really don't. It's not pretty. It really isn't. It's something that, like being a meth freak. Nobody wants to be around you. Nobody does. But when I got there, it wasn't even on. And then the glitch got me all excited. Like, oh, is this going to tank? Is it going to? And, of course, I couldn't, I had to keep coming back and dip in until it got going. But, a lot of people just dipped in one time just to hear, 2 lies, and then they were out, which is normal. That's what a normal human does. I'm not putting myself in that category. I'm separating myself out of normal, okay, and admitting I have a problem. However, I hope that people, young ones, tuned in when they were talking about climate change because it was the most ridiculous conversation ever.
So if we're keeping score,
yeah.
They're losing the villages, they're losing the evangelicals, and 230,000 new registered voters.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, they are panicking. They have to be panicking.
And check this out. The question of abortion is on so many swing state ballots. It's on in Arizona. As of yesterday, they got it on there. Missouri's got a question about whether or not you want to preserve the right to choose. Oh, God, even New York has a question about it. I don't even know what it is. I have to look at it. But New York, really? But I mean, it's Florida. Remember when Florida actually won with the signatures? Enough signatures to get the question to preserve, because we have a 6-week abortion ban here in this state that's shaped like a penis, for God's sake. I mean, what worse place could you restrict abortion than this state? There is nothing. I mean, it hangs off of people's license plate, the shape. Okay? I mean, what are they? And so it made it on the ballot, and I'm like, hey, is Florida in play? Is Florida in play? Well, I got news for you. they're saying, and by them I mean mainstream media, okay, they are saying that Florida and Ohio might be in play. Florida and Ohio. Now, I don't know. I'm not a poll person, okay? I just live in a state that's shaped like one. But honestly, they're never right. The polls are never right, ever. But they're saying that, like Miami is starting to warm up to the idea of Kamala Harris and Tim Walz. A lot of people in Ohio are starting to warm up to the idea of kindness as a way to govern. They're starting to warm up to the idea that all of this bullying has got to stop, and that their weird uncle or their dad who's been brainwashed could actually be deprogrammed by a dad-like guy like Tim Walz. And they're saying, maybe we should do that. Maybe we should go down that road and end the stalemate over Thanksgiving. End the stalemate, you know what I mean? Like, and have the peace talks over, Christmas.
I want my uncle back.
Right. So, I don't know, but that's the talk. I heard that on a lot of mainstream media. But when I saw the Newsmax report, did you see their faces? They're just sitting there like this. As he reports out that 230,000 18 to 34-year-olds just newly registered at vote.org. Just newly registered. Now, Taylor Swift hasn't even said anything. So can you imagine if she actually, says something, anything at all? Taylor writes a song about it. How, at 2 o'clock in the morning, she woke up realizing she didn't get to vote. And the cat was pissed. Do you know what I'm saying? I mean, but anyway, it's bad. So Nikki Haley has been now trotted out and I know it's not the Trump campaign that's doing it, okay? It's everyone outside of the Trump campaign who don't even have the smarts to check the connection and make sure he doesn't sound like a slurry old man for 2 hours when he's being given an illegal campaign contribution by X, which is a corporation, and corporations are prohibited from giving to a candidate, right? And nobody even bothers to check that. Now, yesterday I told you the UAW is also suing. And they're suing both of them. They're suing Elon and they're suing Donald Trump. Why? Because they're intimidating people who want to belong to a union by telling them, if you strike, we'll fire you. That's who we are. And laughing about it. This is not good for them. This is not good for them. And nobody is telling him, stand down, shut up, just go over there for a minute. Here, go give a rally and threaten to, punch people in the face or do whatever it is that you do. But don't attack workers and don't attack service members. And don't attack a guy who served 24 years in the Guard. Like you attacked John McCain. Now you got Arizona Republicans that are stumping for Harris-Walz, stumping for them, not just phoning it in. There's a long list now, of Republicans. Riddle Hood. I mean, there's a whole long list of Republicans who are voting for Kamala Harris and telling other Republicans, you don't owe anything to this party.
Call in, connect. To speak to Randi, call 561-270-3844. 561-270-3844.
I want this campaign to win. But the campaign is not going to win talking about crowd sizes. It's not going to win talking about what race Kamala Harris is. It's not going to win talking about whether she's dumb. You can't win on those things. The American people are smart. Treat them like they're smart. We are 80+ days out. We need him to win. But you got to go out and do the work. And the one thing Republicans have to stop doing, quit whining about her. We knew it was going to be her. She's not going to give an interview. They're going to hold out as long as they can. That's their right. They can do it. That doesn't mean we can't talk about what she believes in, and we should be getting out there and doing that. And more than anything, this is not an election for just the MAGA vote. Trust me, Donald Trump has that. Mm-hmm. Republicans need to be fighting for suburban women, for college-educated, for independents, for moderate Republicans, and conservative Democrats. They want to be asked for that.
That's not happening, you see. I like that top, though. That's a very, who's going to, Sheehan is going to rip that top off and do fast fashion on that on the little pearls. Did you see that in the anyway? That's just me. But yeah, Nikki Haley is like, tell them to stop whining. Are you kidding? They're the Republicans. That's all they do. Bitch and moan and grievances. And, Jon Stewart on Monday had a montage to show you that Donald Trump didn't even rise to the occasion and, actually study anything about Kamala Harris's record on anything. He just took the same insults and swapped out Biden's name and added Kamala's name. Okay, that's all he did. He didn't do anything that would require thought or effort. The guy's an idiot, okay? And the only thing he cares about at this point is staying out of prison. And you know who knows this? You know who agrees with me about this? Anthony Scaramucci. Scaramouche. Does he do the fandango? Thunderbolt and lightning. Very, very frightening. Galileo. Magnifico. Oh. Sorry, I have to finish it. It's like a OCD thing. Okay, so here's Scaramucci, okay?
The reason why I'm not crazy to say this is Trump likes three things. Don't ever forget this. He likes money, he likes attention, and he likes his personal freedom, meaning he doesn't want to go to jail.
Yeah.
He's a big baby, which is why he has all that hyper masculinity and all that bullying, tough guy intimidation, enemies lists, all the stupid stuff that small penis people have. And so he doesn't want to go to jail, trust me. So if he sees himself really dropping in the polls and there's a way to cut himself a deal that avoids jail, he'll fake an illness and he'll see if he can slide a Nikki Haley or Ron DeSantis into the top of the ticket. Hopefully you'll ask me about Vance, because that's been literally the biggest disaster in vice presidential selection history. I mean, you can't be any worse than this guy.
Wow. In under a minute, he called him a tiny, a penis person. He called him not even a grower. Just called him a tiny penis person. Just said this is what small penis men do. Said he had all of the, foibles of a small penis person. Said that. Now, I don't know if Anthony has ever been in a locker room with the Trump man, but I'm guessing they have been. In the wild world of sport, men do that. Right? Women only do it in a spa situation, but men will do it all day, every day. So there you have that. And then he's saying, listen, if there's an opportunity for him to fake an illness and drop out in exchange for a promise not to prosecute him. So here's what I couldn't figure out. Like, who would make that promise, Anthony? Like, who would promise Trump that he wouldn't go to jail? Kamala? And then what? She would prefer to run against Nikki Haley? That makes no sense. But it's interesting. It's interesting that we're supposed to remember that the only reason Donald Trump is running for president is to keep himself out of prison. Out of prison. And that is the truth about this. That is the truth about why this is how many times is this man going to lose? I mean, this is the third time he'll be on a presidential ballot. Number 3, everybody. Number 3. It's painful. It's painful to have to suffer through another year of him, another moment of him, another month of him, another election with him. It's just so sickening. It's so nauseating. But I think that even, except for the, the maggots, except for the real diehards in there, people are done with it. I feel it. I see it. I smell it. I know young people, and that's the crazy part, right? The crazy part is that the 16 voter, the over 65 voter from 2016 is almost what? The over 65 voter is either in their mid to late 70s or early 80s or 90s or not with us anymore. May their memory be a blessing. And in their stead, there's 230,000 new just in the last couple of weeks. Just in the last couple of weeks, 230,000 new 18 to 34-year-old voters, and I know that number is going to grow. And obviously in the swing states, Arizona, Florida, there's questions about, freedom to choose. There's all kinds of questions. And young people and middle-aged parents of young people are kind of sick of sending their kids to schools where they're traumatized with live fire drills, live shooter drills. And if there was a way to beat back the assault weapons presence in their kids' schools, they would vote that way. And that is what Kamala Harris and Walz are out there campaigning on, an assault weapons ban. Truly, that is what their campaign. They want a mandatory buyback program of assault weapons, right? And they would love to see schools be safe again, and that kids could be free from, being shot to death in school. In school, they're more about feeding. They're more about lunch. They're more about breakfast. They're more about that than they are about ammo and long guns. It's an amazing contrast. I mean, the difference couldn't be starker. So it's an awesome experiment that we're going through right now. Awesome, but listen, Nikki Haley is they like Kamala. They like her. Okay, they do.
Don't assume people are going to bend a knee. That is not that 20%. Their ideas are still out. What they like about Kamala is that she's being hopeful. She's talking about freedom. She's talking about a way forward. They don't want a former president talking about the past.
That's all he talks about. That's all he talks about is he was robbed, his election. He thinks this, he thinks that. Stop the steal. He's still rambling about that. He's going to be in North Carolina today. I don't know why I want to tell you this, but and I promise you there'll be nothing new. Nothing new at all. He's going to threaten that the stock markets crashed. Right? We had that one day where the Japanese did something that the market didn't like, put it that way, on interest rates over there, right? We're about ready to lower interest rates here. The big debate now is, do we lower it half a point? That would be big. Or a quarter of a point. Why? Do you know what inflation was today? We got the report. Below 3, which nobody expected, but it is. 2.9%. Almost at the nice normal 2% level. And now they're going to lower interest rates, making home ownership more affordable. Yeah.
This is the Randi Rhodes Show. To speak with Randi, dial 561-270-3844. That's 561-270-3844.
All right, 48 after. Let's talk to Kevin in Texas.
Greetings.
Greetings.
Randi, I wanted to say some of my best coworkers and managers have been women, and Vice President Harris is more than qualified to handle any situation as she sees fit. Just because she's a woman and Donnie Trump hates women, she's more than capable in handling any situation, domestic or foreign.
She's 10 times the man he is, okay? That's just the way, it is. He's an idiot, okay? He's a fraud. He's a phony. If he hadn't inherited all that money from his daddy, who made all that money by not showing apartments to black people, I doubt that Donald Trump would be anybody that you and I ever heard of.
Oh, in my opinion, he is the most treasonous citizen of the United States since the existence. But another thing with this Elon Musk thing,
do
you remember a couple of years ago, he gets hundreds of millions of dollars of government money for these space programs.
He's heavily subsidized. Yes, he is.
And he tried to get those subsidy programs eliminated, where, hey, he's got it. Now he was pulling the ladder up saying no more.
Right.
And this is why he's, I'm guessing he's backing Trump, because Trump will get in there and say, you know what, here, we're going to give all the money just to Elon. And
it's possible. It's possible.
It is. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, I mean, they're both very transactional people, and the two of them sitting there and committing crime right in front of us last night for 2 hours. for 2 freaking hours. They were literally committing a crime. Elon Musk was giving a corporate donation, an actual event. He was throwing a campaign event for Donald Trump's benefit on his corporate website, the one that he owns. And, they're all thumbing their nose at, the norms and the laws of this country when they do stuff like that because they feel like they're above it. And you know what's really sad, Kevin? They're probably right.
It's terrible that we have to put up with this stuff on a day-to-day basis, and it's going to get worse in the next couple of months. But I'd like to try and experiment. If we criticize federal criminal defendant Donnie doing his 1970s nightclub act, which sucks, at his Nazi rallies. I'm curious to see if we criticize his Nazi rallies and his stand-up comedian act, see how quickly he responds on that Nazi-infested True Social and what's the other one? Musk has that excretion.
X.
Yeah. See how quickly he'll respond to it at one of his own fastest rallies. You can't type in the word Nazi on some of these TikTok or whatever. You get banned using the word Nazi when you're describing something. It's ridiculous. I was banned
not
off
on X. You can say any disgusting thing you want on X. He's turned that place into a sewer. I mean, I used to love it. I used to, participate in it, even when, what's his face, owned it. And I wasn't a big fan of his, Jack Dorsey. Wasn't a big fan of Jack's, but at least Jack Dorsey, tried a little bit, just a little touch to not make it like a hateful sewer, rat-infested, place where if you posted anything, you would be instantly trolled by white supremacists and evildoers. But going on there now is like an exercise in futility, because all that the algorithm does is it alerts the white supremacists that this person who's throttled, by the way, this person who can't get any new followers because we're preventing it, has just posted, go get her. Go get her. And they do it to various people. It's a sick place. It's twisted. And they took fun of, it's social media, and they took the fun out of it. Who does that? Who actually says, I'm going to have a platform that's supposed to be fun. People, meet there. They exchange ideas there. They talk to each other there. They tell jokes there. They show videos there, memes. And I'm going to turn it into a fascist rally day after day after day.
And it really is sad. When it first started, I had a number of friends who were so invested in building their following and doing just what you just said, expressing ideas, connecting with people, sharing their art, sharing their feelings. And they built thousands of followers, hundreds of thousands in some case, and now it's all just flushed literally down that toilet.
Yep.
All that time. They can't go back on. They don't want to be a part of it.
I don't know who they are, but that you're telling me that's exactly what I did. That's exactly the story that I have. Okay. When we first launched, it's like we had to be on social media because people were asking us how many. One of the questions I was asked, you remember I started this because I was writing a book. Does anybody even remember? And then all of a sudden it dawned on me that Trump could win. And so the 2 boxes I had to check off in order to sell this book was Trump couldn't be president and I needed followers on social media. Okay. So one of the questions that all the publishers were asking me was, when's the last time you posted on Twitter? And I had never posted on Twitter. Never. I was very busy writing a good book, a fun book. Anyway. So I started this account, right? And the account started growing and growing and growing and growing and growing. And I said, all right, you know what? Trump, it looks like, is going to win. We should actually get back on the air. My whole family sat me down and said, you need to get back on the air. You absolutely do, because this is going to go south real quick. This guy is, him, blah, blah, blah. You're a New Yorker. You have to get on. People will not believe what we're about to go through. We're going to go through some things, right? And so I didn't have, any money to spend on equipment. We did a Kickstarter thing, right? So everything that we did that was good for starting this, launch, we did on social media, and now I wouldn't be caught dead. Okay, posting, anything. I mean, you post anything there, anything, and it's like you're swarmed by Nazis. You're swarmed by haters. You're swarmed by the dumbest bottom feeders that you could. And I'm pretty sure a whole bunch of them aren't real. Do you know what I'm saying? Meanwhile, what did he do to me? They go through your account and they literally subtracted like 40,000 people from our account, saying, "Oh, that wasn't real, and these are bots," and that's okay. Well, if everybody's gonna, and I remember like as soon as he bought it, not only did he fire everybody, he fired everybody at Twitter, everybody. But he said that he was going to purge all these accounts, and people were starting to say, "Oh my God, I lost like 50,000 people that followed me. All of a sudden disappeared. Did that happen to you?" And we started talking to each other. Go, "Yeah, that happened to me. Oh my God!" And he just turned it into a sewer, just a rat's nest of ugly. And every once in a while, I'll put something up there. Like I think we post the homework every day, but I'm not doing it. I'm not putting it up there. Somebody else is. But whatever, you know what I mean? It's horrible what he's done. He is a nightmare. And then the two of them sit and they laugh about how they fire people.
I mean, I look at what you do. You walk in and you just say, "You want to quit?" They go on strike. I won't mention the name of the company, but they go on strike and you say, "That's okay. You're all gone. You're all gone." So every one of you is gone.
I mean, they're trying to tell you out of one side of their mouth that they're for the forgotten man, okay, that they're populists and that they're for you and that they care about the Rust Belt and they know how to revitalize, even though he had 4 years and did nothing. No infrastructure, no investment. Plants were closing. Do you remember? Lordstown closed. U.S. Steel plants closed. In fact, U.S. Steel was sold to Japan. I mean, the guy is such a liar. It's unbelievable, but he's so good at lying that people actually imagine in their own warped heads that U.S. Steel built plants, because he said that they did. Well, they didn't, okay? He told people in Lordstown, "Don't sell your house. You will not get laid off." They all got laid off and the plant closed. But in their weird minds, that didn't happen, even though they're packing up the U-Haul and moving to Minnesota. Do you know what I'm saying? So strange, so strange. And then out in public, in an illegal campaign contribution that everyone could see for 2 hours, they're laughing at you. They're laughing at you. Elon fired everyone at Tesla because they wanted to form a union. He fired everyone at Twitter. SpaceX too.
Clear for takeoff.
Mary had a little man.
The fault. We believe that all men are created equal.
To the magnificent mosaic that is America.
From radio beacon to radio beacon.
I have a dream today.
Change has come to America.
Believe me.
Help is on the way.
Knock, knock. Who's there?
It's a figment of your imagination.
Randi Rhodes Show.
Turn up your mind.
One of the clear goals of that Project 2025 to-do list is to put the screws to working people, making it harder for us to collectively bargain, allowing employers to drastically cut overtime or even eliminate it. And make no mistake about this, Donald Trump and J.D. Vance want to eliminate Ask Me and all public sector unions altogether. Hell, they're even going after the 40-hour work week. Someone was joking and said, "What's next, child labor?" Oh, yeah, that's in there too, by the way.
Yep.
Reducing the rules around our children, putting them into dangerous jobs again. The folks who came before us spilt blood and treasure and spent their lives working to give us dignity and safety in our workplace, so you can simply do a good day's work and go home to your family safely at night. Project 2025 will take all that away. It'll also repeal what you worked so hard for, the Affordable Care Act and its protections against pre-existing conditions, and they'll gut Social Security and Medicare. I said this too. Look, I guess you can't blame them if you're billionaires. I don't know, but I'm guessing billionaires aren't waiting for their Social Security check to come in to get by. But I know people who are, like my mom, who depends on her entire retirement on Social Security benefits that she earned, by the way, and that we should have every expectation that we're not cutting taxes for the wealthiest while we hurt the most vulnerable amongst us. So be clear. Trump's playing dumb. Oh, I don't know about 2025. Some of you heard this say it, because I'm not ever closing the yearbook on this. I'm a football coach at heart. And I'll tell you one thing I know for sure is, if you're going to take the time to draw up a playbook, you're damn sure going to use it.
Yep.
So don't think that they're not going to use that playbook they drew up, because they're going to.
Absolutely, they're going to. Thank you, Tim Walz, for giving a damn about people who work for a living and fairness in the negotiation process. That's what unions are about. Unions are about collective bargaining. So you don't have to go into Elon Musk's office by yourself. And this is what Elon Musk is scared of. This is what all corporate billionaires are scared of, that their labor will organize and that their labor will pick somebody to represent all of them, and that they will then be the ones deployed to the negotiation. And then Elon has to show up with his offer, and then they take the offer back and they put it up for a vote. And if that offer isn't something that the majority of the people in the workplace are for, it doesn't get accepted. And if that goes on long enough, guess what happens? Guess, everybody. The workers can strike. The workers can go outside. They can sit down. They can go outside. They can walk around. They can go outside and not go inside. And this is what they were laughing at. Oh, yeah, you want to threaten us? Guess what? We're going to you're fired. Who takes joy in firing people? Who does that? I have no idea who really, takes joy in firing. How many years have we been doing this thing? 8, 9, something like that. I've never fired anybody. In my life, I have never fired anybody. So I don't know who would say, oh, I can't wait to go to work and fire people. Like, that's going to feel really good to me. But that's who they are. That's what they're about. And the idea that workers could organize, and that workers could unionize, that workers could collectively bargain to get a fair deal, it's anathema to them. It's poison to them. It's something that they dread happening in their workplaces. Let me show you something. Let's have a little look-see quickly, because nobody really thinks of J.D. Vance the way J.D. Vance needs to be thought of. J.D. Vance is a venture capitalist. Okay, he's a guy who goes around and raises, millions of dollars, and then the investors shop around for somebody that has an idea, somebody that's going to work tirelessly to make that idea happen, somebody that has, a playbook or a business plan, a proposal. That actually does all the accounting, the labor costs, the insurance costs, the rent, everything, and can present it to a guy who has money like JD has access to or has. And they pitch them. It's like Shark Tank, okay? Except it's not on TV. And if it doesn't go their way, what happens isn't pretty, okay?
There are some new details emerging this morning about J.D. Vance's life before politics. The Republican vice presidential candidate was a venture capitalist who invested in the now bankrupt indoor agriculture startup App Harvest. It promised a high-tech future for farming and the workers of eastern Kentucky. Well, Vance stepped down from App Harvest's board to launch his political career in 2021.
But he remained an investor and supporter of the company. Then last year, facing millions of dollars of debt, App Harvest declared bankruptcy. Complaints filed with the U.S. Department of Labor alleged workers were forced to work in grueling conditions, weren't given sufficient water breaks, and weren't provided adequate safety gear. The company was mired in lawsuits over plummeting stocks and allegations of fraud. A spokesperson for Vance says the senator was not aware of the operational decisions or workplace policies after he left, adding that Vance believed in the mission and wished the company would have succeeded.
Okay, that's a local news report about J.D. Vance in eastern Kentucky and the crap that he did there that caused people to have to go to work in a hothouse environment. Swear to God, this was called App Harvest. The app was for Appalachia. And it was a vertical farming idea where, because there's plenty of water there and there was plenty of land, they thought that they could, actually grow fruits and vegetables in a indoor hothouse. The hothouse was so hot, though. It was 128 degrees in the hothouse, and people were keeling over. Ambulances were being called regularly to App Harvest's, hothouse. And the workers were not allowed to have water breaks. The workers were not allowed to cool off. There was no cooling system. And so after the people, were working there for a few months and they were leaving regularly on gurneys to go to the hospital, a lot of the people started to say, this job is not for me. And so all the local workers from the Eastern Kentucky area, one by one, they said, oh, wait a minute. So I work for you and I don't even have health insurance and I'm ending up on a gurney going to the hospital and then I have to pay the bill? Okay. So what benefits do I have? Didn't you promise us benefits when you lured us in here to this hothouse to work? Didn't you say we were going to have health insurance? Yeah, we did. But you know what? It's not going that well. So we had to draw down. We had to draw down on the benefits. We had to actually stop providing any health insurance, stop providing any pension funds, stop providing anything. We promise you it's not there anymore. J.D. Vance was the capitalist, the venture capitalist that went out and got millions of dollars to invest in this startup in capital, okay? And they hired this guy whose idea it was to be the pitch man. And the pitch man actually started to, his savings was getting drained. And so he had to pull back on everything that he had promised, the workers. So he cut their health care benefits and they increased their hours. They refused to give them water breaks or any breaks at all. And so the people that were working there, and of course it was all sold to them as JD is from here. He's from here. He knows you. He loves you. He wants to do something for the blighted area that is Eastern Kentucky. He was born here. This is his stomping ground, and he wants to give back to the community. And so people said, all right. Well, we'll try working for him. And after they worked for him and they started to, drop like flies, after a few months, they all started quitting. Guess what happened? Guess. That's right. Busloads of migrants came and took their place. Busloads. You're not talking about a van. You're talking about busloads of migrants from Mexico, from Guatemala, okay? And so the workers that were originally lured into, work in this hothouse, they had to sit in. They had to sit in to demand better conditions. And guess what JD did? He pulled an Elon Musk. He pulled a Trump. He fired all of them.
Randy at RandyRhodes.com.
Go for launch.
Speaking truth to power, the Randi Rhodes Show.
Okay, this is the story of App Harvest, which started out as probably a very good idea. Okay, this was something that you remember Steve Case from AOL. Steve Case from AOL. You remember? Of course, we all don't remember AOL, but I do, and you do. Just me and you. But Steve Case from AOL actually thought that he should take a look at J.D. Vance after he read Hillbilly Elegy, right? And he thought maybe J.D. Vance would be a good guy to identify distressed areas of the country that needed investment from guys like Steve Case of AOL. And so he hired J.D. Vance to do exactly that. J.D. Vance took a meeting with this guy, Jonathan Webb. Jonathan Webb was the one who hatched the idea of App Harvest, Appalachian Harvest, which was a vertical farming idea, okay? And he had drained his entire savings account trying to set this thing up. And so he took a meeting with JD, and JD Vance told him that he could raise millions and millions of dollars, okay? And he could help get this thing really rolling, that they could hire people locally, they could pay them decent wages, they could offer them health care benefits, they could offer them pension funds, they could offer them, even childcare, okay? All kinds of great things to attract people to this new business, App Harvest, right? Now, one of the first hires they had was a guy named Anthony Morgan. Anthony Morgan was hired as a crop care specialist. And he thought this was a good fit for him because he knew how to take care of crops, number one. Number two, he was a single dad with 2 twin daughters, and this fit into his schedule better than anything else in the area. So he went to work for them, and here he is to tell the tale.
We was being told that, hey guys, he's from here.
Thank you. Wow.
He is J.D. Vance, the Republican nominee for vice president.
I will be a vice president who never forgets where he came from.
Leaning on his personal rise out of poverty to reach swing state voters as Donald Trump's running mate.
I chose him because he's for the worker. He's for the people that work so hard and perhaps weren't treated like they should have been.
But before politics, Vance was a venture capitalist and AppHarvest's first outside investor, eventually steering millions of dollars to the company. Vance was a lead pitchman for the vertical farming startup, tweeting he was a supporter and investor, writing, "I love this company."
It's a great business that's making a big difference in the world.
The company's investor presentation pledged a commitment to Appalachia, estimating thousands of new jobs to a poverty-stricken area.
A major emphasis with them was, we want to bring work to Eastern Kentucky. This is why we are here.
Morgan left a stable job to join AppHarvest as a crop care specialist, pruning the greenhouse-grown vegetables. A single father with 6-year-old twins, the job rapidly turned when production fell behind under what a dozen workers described to CNN as mismanagement, including dangerous conditions. Employees filed multiple complaints to the state and federal government alleging heat exhaustion, working in extreme temperatures, and lack of water breaks, though the cases were all closed with no citations.
I think about the hottest that I experienced was around 128 degrees.
Inside?
Inside. Couple days a week, you'd have ambulance show up, and you've seen people leaving on gurneys to go to the hospital.
The cuts came next to promised worker benefits, and then foreign workers came in to fill those so-called local jobs.
The second round of folks they brought in was folks on work visas, and they didn't bring just a van full. They brought bus loads.
Documents show AppHarvest hired contract workers from outside the region. At one point, as many as 500, the majority of its workforce, not locals. But that's not the image AppHarvest wanted the world to see. This is Kentucky Senator Mitch McConnell visiting in 2021.
Mitch McConnell coming through. Were the migrant workers there at the time? You're laughing. I mean, I look at the video. It doesn't look like there's any.
No.
They hid these guys.
They hid them.
They took them out of the plant. They was gone. And then Mitch McConnell's giving a speech about all this work that AppHarvest has brought Eastern Kentuckians.
I like the idea of taking the tomato market away from the Mexicans. How about that?
So they were trying to hide the migrant workers.
Specifically, yeah.
Yeah, they hid the migrant workers. And, of course, in the end, they went bankrupt. And that's the story of bringing thousands of jobs to Eastern Kentucky. I mean, the workers that they had, they lured in with this promise of, amazing benefits and flexible hours, and single dads like, Anthony Morgan there were like, yeah, all right, I'll leave my nice stable job and I'll go try something new because, it sounds like a good opportunity. You've pitched me. I'm right? And then they abuse the guy. They abuse him, and they abuse everybody that was hired to work there. People were literally being taken out on gurneys. They were filing complaints. And then Mitch McConnell, oh my God, this rat bastard that he is, he comes there and pretends that he doesn't know that A, it hasn't hired thousands of local people, and B, it's actually, going bankrupt. But he touts it as part of his accomplishments to bring jobs to Eastern Kentucky. Now, I only show you this because I want to show you the reality. Here's what's real. The green jobs, the infrastructure, the Science and Chips Act have already created, and this is the this is the Biden-Harris agenda. They have already created 335,000 new clean energy jobs. And they are now at risk if you change commanders in chief. Okay. And if you go for the union busting billionaire playbook once again, it will all end. It will all end. Because the Heritage Foundation, which is ExxonMobil, which is Adolf Coors and Molson, which is big billionaire business money. That's what Heritage is. You know, Heritage was founded by the Coors family, okay, just so you know. And these people have no interest in unions. These people have no interest in health care for all. These people have no interest in health care from the work that you do. They have no interest in dignity from work. They have no interest in collective bargaining. They have no interest in providing pension plans. They have no interest in flexible hours. Okay, this is not their wheelhouse. This is the playbook of the billionaire.
This is the corporate America playbook, the billionaire playbook. They thumb their nose at labor law.
Yep.
And there's got to come a reckoning in this country where the billionaires and the corporate class and employers are held accountable when they break the law. It is federal law that workers have a right to strike, and you cannot be fired for striking. And, you know, Donald Trump thumbs his nose at the law. I mean, you know, there's another theme coming out. I call Donald Trump a scab because that's what he is.
Yep.
But, you know, there's been the word thrown around here recently about weird. And you know what? That ticket is just completely weird. If you listen to Trump and Musk, how they laugh about how Musk fires people and how Donald Trump loves to talk about his favorite two words, you're fired. I mean, who enjoys that? Who takes pride in firing workers? And that's the problem here. You know, this is a whose side are you on moment. That's what this election's about. And we know who Donald Trump stands with. He stands for the billionaire class and the wealthy. And Kamala Harris and Tim Walz, they're one of us. They're working class people.
Call in, connect. To speak to Randy, call 561-270-3844. 561-270-3844.
You know, you can tell a lot about people in their personal lives. He spent a decade stiffing service workers from dishwashers, waiters, and carpenters on his own properties to enrich himself. As president, he cut overtime benefits for millions of workers, and he opposed any effort to raise the minimum wage. That's all you need to know. You don't have to ask twice. We know who they are. A guy who goes to Mar-a-Lago, and this is a direct quote, he sits there and tells his friends, you're rich as hell and we're going to cut your taxes.
Yeah, he did.
I believe him when he says that. But he also turns around and tells workers their wages are too high.
He did say that at Magaloco. You know, it's bad video, it's bad audio, but you know, he was on a little. I don't know. He's at his own freaking house, and he has a podium. Okay, I will tell you, this is not going well. He's in Asheville, North Carolina right now, and I just looked up, and guess who's on the TV? Guess. Daniel Dale, everybody, the fact checker for CNN. I don't think he's done with his little song and dance, his little dog and pony show there in Asheville, but already they have to fact check because he's been lying for at least 36 minutes now. And they had to stop and fact check him and take him off the TV. I mean, that's pathetic. That is really sick and sad. It's just unbelievable. But, you know, when I went to see where he's going in Asheville, like, what's the venue? It's the Thomas Wolfe Auditorium. It looks like a school auditorium, actually. Its capacity, just so this is an easy fact check because you could look it up on the internets. It'll tell you what capacity is for the Thomas Wolfe Auditorium. It's 2,400 people. He's going to stand there and he's going to say that he had thousands and thousands of people at this thing and that's not including the people who couldn't get in because the fire marshal wouldn't let them in. I mean, there is nothing new about any of this act of his. The lies are new and the names have been changed, but, you know, it's the same old grievance thing. It's the same old creepy you know, accusations. He did one of the things I know he said, because I saw it during the break, was that California is unlivable. It's unlivable, everybody, and it's because of Kamala. Anybody in California want to weigh in? Because I was just there. You know, my kid lives there. She's living in the unlivable. Oh yeah, it's hell. It's pure hell. I don't even know what the hell he's trying to get rural Americans to imagine about California. I will say, he left out the part where they had a 4.4 earthquake yesterday, or was it yesterday, the day before? It was like Jessica said it was like 2 big jolts. That he doesn't seem to care about any of that. He just, it's just Camilla, he calls her, who looks like Melania in his weird fantasies. Oh my God. All right, Tom in LA. Hi, Tom.
Hey, Randy. First, this is Tom from GL Pages.
Yeah, I know.
You probably knew that.
Yeah. No,
Anyway,
he didn't tell me. I just know.
Okay, cool. All right. I wanted to say that for probably the uneducated voters, that we really have got to slam home the idea of the 3 branches of government, which I think a lot of people do not really realize in this country, which is really crazy.
Yeah.
But it is true. And the thing is, I know, I was talking with someone the other day, and they're like, why does Kamala keep saying that she'll sign, something into law when she doesn't know if she can do it or not? I'm like, because she has to get the Congress. And they're like, the Congress? I mean, what's that all about? I thought she could just sign it. And I'm just like going, oh, my God, there's so much non-intelligence in terms of our actual democracy, where people really think, I think that the president is the only one that's there. And I really think that the Harris campaign and even the Coach Walz and stuff need to kind of educate people about how they really, really need to get to Congress, whether it's, supermajority or whatever. You're also going to have a caller that's going to call it. I just turned him on to your show. His name is Cam from Appleton, Wisconsin.
Oh, he's
So
on
I'm
the
from
line.
Wisconsin originally.
He's on.
Oh, cool.
Cam
So
is on line 3.
Just wanted to let you know.
Oh yeah. Oh, is that your recruit?
Yes, it's my recruit to you. So hopefully he'll get a podcast.
Oh, thank you very much. I appreciate that.
I know I got mine.
Yay. Thank you.
Yay. All right.
Good to talk to you, Tom.
Good talking to you.
Bye. Hey, Cam.
Hey, I don't know if I would have given such a glowing review of me there as if it's a positive thing.
Well,
one of the first things I said to him was, "Oh, I like her accent, and she also looks legit like one of my grandparents." I think I'll listen to her show. So here I am, an hour or so later.
I look like your grandma?
One of them, she requires me to call her Grandma Princess, and she will not respond to me unless I call her that.
Brad, do I look like anybody's grandma
Cam,
at this point?
You were doing so well, Cam. What have you done?
Okay, what can I do for you?
There's nothing wrong with being a grandma, and no, you don't look like a grandma. She looks a lot younger than that anyways. But
how old is your grandma, just out of curiosity? Do you know?
She'll tell me 24. She won't tell me.
She won't tell you. How old are you?
28.
And how old's your mom?
She won't tell me.
Your mom won't tell you?
Yeah, she won't. She's literally kept it hidden from me. She doesn't keep her license in her wallet.
Okay, so now I know that you're bullcrapping me.
No, I'm not.
Yeah, you are. So anyway, I'm going to round it out. I figure if your mom, do you think your mom had you when she was in her 20s or 30s?
20s.
Okay, so your mom's probably around late 40s, probably around 48, 49, 50. Her mom, if she had her when she was 20, is 70 years old. F you, Cam.
Hey, she still works.
I don't care. I don't look like a girl. All right, well, buy a stinker podcast. You owe me. Go to randyrhodes.com and click on it and buy a stinker podcast.
Yeah, I'll have to.
All right. There you go. Thank you. Did you want to say anything else?
I did. God forbid Trump ever figures out that he can have more than one Twitter account like Elon does with his sock puppets accounts, like his Adrian Dittman account that he uses online and swears that he's not Elon and is definitely not Elon in any way, even though he has the same stutters, the same vernacular. It's the same dude. He's been getting in trouble in courts and lawsuits. He drops them. You can tell when he is going to get in trouble. He drops the lawsuit that he claims he's going to have against someone else because And during discovery, they end up finding out, oh, this is a sock puppet account. Oh, this is a sock puppet account that he's using illegally.
Yeah, he's got to back off the ketamine, I think.
Oh, yeah.
Right. I mean, he's giving way too many interviews about, ketamine and his dead son, who is still alive, but now has a daughter, and he doesn't like the way that turned out. He is literally imploding, and the idea that they were flaunting this campaign, event on X yesterday in front of 1 million plus people, flouting the law like that, ought to tell you how they feel it doesn't apply to them, just you. The law only applies to you. The power belongs to them. Nothing belongs to you.
Fatality. This is the Randi Rhodes Show. To speak with Randi, dial 561-270-3844. That's 561-270-3844.
It's a question we made famous in the labor movement. Which side are you on? And this is a simple question in this election, because on one side, you got a billionaire that serves himself and his billionaire buddies. He lies, he cheats, and he steals his way to the top. He's a lapdog for the billionaire class. And on the other side, we got a strong, intelligent, and I'm just going to put it bluntly, a badass woman. Oh!
That's Sean Fain, the president of the United Auto Workers Union. And yesterday, Walz went to AFSCME out in California, where it's unlivable, everybody. You can't live there. And he got a standing ovation from the service workers, from the teachers. AFSCME is also teachers. And they didn't want to sit down. They were just standing on their feet applauding him, just so happy to see him. Look at this. Look at this. This is unbelievable. Oh, my God. Wow. Beauty. Hello, Los Angeles. Hello. Wow. Yeah. And Donald Trump is in an auditorium today in Asheville with a capacity of 2,400 people, lying to them and saying, trash talking our country once again, saying America is a country in decline. America has seen its best days. America is over. America is exhausted. America is weak. America is little. America is small. All the things, to quote Anthony Scaramucci, that small penis men say. I didn't say it. He said it. He said, I have no idea. I'm guessing Scaramucci knows. I'm guessing he's got the inside 411 on that thing.
He didn't sound like he was guessing.
No, he didn't. He sounded very sure. He sounded very, firm in the, I won't say it's an accusation, because, there's people out there like that, I'll just say he was sure in the, never mind. Jazz in New Orleans.
Yeah, hi, Randy.
Hi, Jazz.
You are my favorite Gen Xer, and I swear, you're probably the only one that will understand what I think I'm seeing here in Louisiana.
Okay.
I honestly feel like they have this Governor Landry testing out the theories of Project 2025. Making sure that all the public schools and private schools are posting the 10 Commandments in every classroom.
Yeah.
And this all had to be done over this past summer to make sure that it was in time for school started this week.
Yeah.
Now, I listen to I'm listening to the radio, and there's an advertisement it's like a PSA telling parents that if their school-aged children have library cards for the public library, they need to register so that they can get their permissions set up. So suddenly there's some sort of rating system at the public library?
Yes, at the library. Yes.
Yeah, I'm Midwest all the way.
I hear
might
that.
have moved to New Orleans, but I'll tell you, I still got Wisconsin in me a little bit.
There you go. Yeah, you do.
But that's the thing. It's like I watched a Trumpster, a Trump supporter on CNN last night. They were like interviewing different Trump supporters, and this one Trump supporter turns around. She goes, one way to like get Christ back in our lives. First thing, like Louisiana, get the 10 Commandments back up in the schoolroom. And I'm saying, as old as I am, I know for a fact I never saw the 10 Commandments in my classroom or anywhere in the school.
Me neither.
Because we learned about the separation of church and state when I was like
4th grade.
7.
Yeah, exactly.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm like...
No,
like
how about
my
this? How about
fear.
this, Trump supporters? How about this idea that Jazz and I are about to agree on? How about you elect somebody that follows the 10 Commandments? Okay, how about you do that? How about you elect somebody that doesn't commit adultery? How about you, elect somebody that doesn't make, himself into God? How about you do that? How about, you elect somebody that actually treats the neighbor the way they'd like to be treated themselves? How about you do that?
My biggest fear right now is that guys like Governor Landry, even after we're done with, Captain Poopy Pants over there, I can't see that we're going to ever be rid of some of these folks because you get them bigger and bigger and growing into the cult to where they feel when the cult is over, they're going to become the new cult leaders.
Well,
that's what I think he's gearing up for.
Well, Jazz, I just want you to understand, in this here country, which is a free country, last I checked, it still has 30% of the population will always has been racist, homophobic, frightened of their own shadow, threatened by otherizing people because they can't figure it out. They don't know how to talk to them. They don't know what they eat. They don't know where they go to school. They don't know what they worship. And they're terrified of them. We're always going to have 30% of the population like that. You know why? Because we're not a melting pot. This is a big lie we've told ourselves since we were in school. We are a salad bowl. And we coexist. The carrot coexists with the cucumber, but they don't become a delicious cookie. You know what I'm saying? They don't melt together. And because of that, we're always going to have 30% of the population that has never seen a fill-in-the-blank person, okay? And they're going to be afraid. And fear brings out the worst emotions in human beings. It's fight or flight, baby. And that's what they're going to. But it will always be like that. What we have to stop doing is allowing for a minority, meaning not the popular vote getter. No, not the person who gets the most votes. It's America. Okay. No, we don't put the person who gets the most votes in the White House. And we haven't done that for like 9 of the last 10 elections. It's really weird. Hillary Clinton would have been president if we had the popular vote. Okay. Obama did win the popular vote and he was president, but Donald Trump did not. Okay, and Joe Biden, Joe Biden did. He got 8 million more votes than. It's so interesting though that we actually put into the White House people who didn't get a majority of the vote, and then the minority in this country feels emboldened, and that's what's gone on, and that's what's happened. Now Bush was president only because the Supreme Court decided to stop counting the votes here in Florida. They stopped counting the votes in Florida when Bush had 535 more votes than Al Gore. And Al Gore, being the patriotic person that he is, said, you know what? We need a peaceful transition of power. We've gone as far as we're going to go on the courts with this. It is now time to give a concession speech and welcome our new president, George W. Bush, who took us into 2 wars, literally crashed our economy, left in 2008 as the economy was hemorrhaging. Our 401ks were cut in half. Everything that people like me, grandma over here, had saved up until 2008 was pretty, it was pretty, reputable. I mean, it was like somebody was trying, right? I gave it what I got. Wiped out. Start all over again. What? Yes, and we must bail out Oh, no, not Randi. We must bail out the banks. I mean, this was just, and they keep on doing it. In fact, here's my favorite Trump clip of all time. 2004 Donald Trump. Vintage.
It just seems that the economy does better under the Democrats than the Republicans. Now, it shouldn't be that way. But if you go back, I mean, it just seems that the economy does better under the Democrats
than the Republicans. Oh, it's true. And that's why he lies so much. Because he knows. He knows. You will not do better in Trump land. We will die. I mean, 1 million people died. And he's got them, I don't know, he's got them swooning for 2020 when 1 million people dropped dead, when 1 million people were on, ventilators and then, being mass buried in New York on Potter's Field. Oh God, I remember the history, going through it and explaining to you guys what Potter's Field is in New York, and it was a poor people's cemetery. It was a place where, if you didn't do well in life, your parents would threaten you, and they would tell you you're going to end up in Potter's Field. That was a threat, and now all of a sudden, decent people, because we were in the midst of a pandemic with a president who didn't give a damn, didn't give a rat's ass about any of it, they were being mass buried in Potter's Field.